You're probably familiar with the pioneering first-person shooters Doom and Doom 2: Hell on Earth, and maybe the story behind their development. But are you familiar with Final Doom? Welcome to a Museum Mini, a short video here on Tanner's Game Museum looking into smaller portions of gaming history than the usual. Our first Museum Mini will cover Final Doom. Doom and Doom 2 were huge hits for id Software, a game development company that had seen success with other games such as Commander Keen and Wolfenstein 3D. Refining the formula that they had established with Wolfenstein, Doom really introduced the world to the first-person shooter, and showed that the genre could more than hold its own among the most admired in gaming. Boasting a revolutionary engine, incredibly impressive graphics, and smooth, fast, and easy-to-understand gameplay, Doom blew away the public upon its release in 1993. Gamers all over the world were blasting away the legions of hell with a variety of high-powered weapons, and many were inspired. Of course, this was the first time that violence was depicted in such a realistic manner in a video game, and some were disturbed. This violence might not seem like a big deal now, but this was one of the first times a game had reached a level of realism like this, not to mention much of the imagery depicted in the game. However, id Software didn't mind the controversy so much, and copies continued to sell. In September of the following year, Doom 2 was released to the public, and like its predecessor was regarded as a standout game. Doom saw a few re-releases and expansions, typical of many games, especially in recent years. One such expansion was Final Doom, released in 1996 by id Software for PC, with a modified version for PlayStation combined with levels from Master Levels for Doom 2, was also released. But id Software didn't develop this entry of the Doom franchise. Final Doom was an expansion of Doom 2, intended to be the final entry in the classic Doom series, if the title was any indication. It consisted of 2 megawads, or Doom modifications consisting of a large amount of brand new levels, in this case 32 each. These were known as TNT Evolution and the Plutonia Experiment. TNT Evolution was developed by Doom mapping team Team TNT, while the Plutonia Experiment was developed by brothers Dario and Milo Casali. You might be thinking, great, this sounds like a nice expansion, but fans didn't react in quite the same way. Doom co-creator John Romero had emailed Team TNT asking if they were interested in teaming up to sell a megawad they were working on, Evolution, as an official joint id Software and Team TNT product, and they accepted. Fans of Doom and TNT were a little upset, to say the least. Megawads were almost always distributed for free, and this was also the plan for Evolution. In fact, this was the case until a few hours before the scheduled release. TNT had received Romero's email and agreed to his request, leaving fans to pay for the megawad at a later date. Now, I have no way of knowing, but personally I feel that the anger of fans wouldn't have been quite as harsh if TNT had been able to accept this deal earlier and given their fans fair warning. But regardless, the agreement went on, and Final Doom was eventually released on PC and PlayStation, with Evolution included. Evolution didn't just include new levels, but a new soundtrack, and a fair bit of challenge, best suited for those experienced at Doom. Although the controversy was high at the time of release, eventually it died down, and Evolution is looked upon mostly positively today. The Casali brothers, who I mentioned earlier, were no strangers to creating levels for Doom. In fact, they had created 4 levels each for Evolution. After sending in a rough draft of Plutonia Experiment to id Software, they were approached by id to work on another megawad for the Final Doom project, and accepted. They split the workload in half amongst themselves, but still noted that development was incredibly painstaking. While Evolution contained a new soundtrack for the most part, the Plutonia Experiment didn't, but it more than makes up for this through its extremely challenging levels, pushing even the most skilled Doom players to their limits. The brothers were noticed for their work on the Plutonia Experiment, both finding work in the game industry after its release. Final Doom is an important game. Not only did it forever change interactions between game developers and fans that create content for their games, but it showed how those working on fan projects have fans of their own, and how sometimes it can be difficult to please both sides. Regardless, Final Doom paved the way for fan projects being picked up by developers of the original games. It's likely we would be missing out on a ton of great games today if it wasn't for the example that id Software and Final Doom set. Thank you for watching. If you're interested in this kind of thing, I have other videos of the sort on my channel. Feel free to let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you next time.